Yeah, I think that's true. I think the Apocrypha is not well known to Protestants. Because I'm an Anglican, Episcopalian, which means that the Apocrypha for me is sort of hovering there as something you should know about, even though it's not fully part of the biblical canon as it is in Catholicism. But you do learn a lot from reading it, and it's very important filling in the gap between the Old Testament and the New Testament, because it tells you about the kind of traditions and beliefs that were current in Jesus' own day, which was not just the Old Testament, but things from more recent times which didn't make it into the Old Testament. It's quite, the Apocrypha is quite important in that sense, as bridging the gap. We used to talk about it as intertestamental literature, standing between the two testaments. Well, that's not a very nice way of putting it from a Jewish perspective, because there's only one testament to start with from a Jewish point of view. But nevertheless, it did conjure up for Christians the idea that this is literature that fills the gap between the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Yeah, I feel like in my tradition, the Apocrypha has been just automatically tossed out and really frowned upon in my tradition, and oftentimes mixed up with, oh, those are all Gnostic texts. Those are all just, you don't want to even bother with it. It's kind of like all mingled together. So I remember even growing up early, like hearing about the Apocrypha or going through my grandma's Bible, and she was Roman Catholic, and seeing all these extra books. Like her Bible was thicker than mine. I'm 45 now, never read the Apocrypha, never thought it was something that I should be reading, based on my own upbringing and tradition. And you were pointing out like how useful it was by different, early church, like kind of going through and reading these different writings.
That's right. Yes, I mean there are some books in the Apocrypha, like the Wisdom of Jesus, son of Sirach, also known as in older Bibles as Ecclesiasticus, not to be confused with Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament, which is a book like Proverbs, only about twice as long, and full of all sorts of wise sayings, which is well worth reading, even today. And there's nothing in it that in any way conflicts with either Judaism or Christianity. Quite different from as you say, the Gnostic texts, which are texts that have only been discovered in modern times, and which shouldn't be confused with what's in the biblical Apocrypha at all. They're quite different category of things. But I think people do get worried by the books that didn't make it into the Bible. This book of mine was an attempt certainly to tell them a bit about that, but to concentrate on the books that did get into the Bible and tell people about what they will actually find if they open their Bible and look at it. And it was an attempt to demystify, to some extent, what's there. Because as you say, if you just open the Bible at random and expect to get something good out of it, you'll probably be disappointed, because you don't understand the context or the historical background or the setting within which the texts we've got were written. Unless you do that, you don't really stand much chance of making an awful lot of sense of a lot of it. There are great, sublime, inspiring passages that speak across the generations, regardless of whether we know the background, like the 23rd Psalm or something. But for the most part, the material is from an ancient culture, and you do need a bit of background to understand it.